All right. So, again, like I said, I just want you guys to participate while we're going over this. And as we go over it, use that note card to write yourself notes if you need to as we go. So, basically, studying for the exam is in class, and you don't have to do too much outside of class, okay? All right, so the first one,
No one has a question.
I do have a question.
go ahead.
What day is your exam? Monday.
Monday
is first and second.
Monday, yeah, first and second.
Okay.
Tuesday is third, fourth, or fifth. Wednesday, sixth or seventh. Friday is eighth, right? This Friday?
That's true.
I have a question.
I will be there.
What?
If we don't have an eighth grade, do we have to be here?
I don't know that answer.
Yes,
I think you do.
What did you say?
If you could tell that you know.
I have to, I don't know anything that you guys have to be here.
No, we have a class.
Oh, yeah, but we have classes.
Okay, so this is just combining like terms, right? That's all we gotta do. So we got a 9x cubed minus a 3x cubed is 6x cubed. We got a negative 4x squared minus 2x squared is a negative 6x squared. And then nothing minus 7 is negative 7, right? So make sure the mistake you may have made is you put plus 7, maybe. All right? So number one, pretty easy, right? All right. Number two, we're multiplying a binomial times a 4-term polynomial.
Yeah.
So we're going to have 8 terms, and then we want to combine like terms, right? All right, so I'm going to take the 3x times 2x cubed is 6x to the 4th, right? 3x times negative 3x squared is negative 9x cubed. 3x times 2x is 6x squared. And 3x times 4 is 12x. Negative 2 times 2x cubed is negative 4x cubed. Negative 2 times negative 3x squared is a positive 6x squared. Negative 2 times 2x is a negative 4x. And negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. So I lined up the like terms so I could just do it vertically there, okay? So our answer then is, now we got to combine like terms, 6x to the 4th minus 13x cubed plus 12x squared plus 8x minus 8. We get that one? Again, that's not anything that difficult, right? Now, the way I made up this exam is there's 30 problems. The first 10 are like this, where you just do the problem and write it out. And then the last 20 is multiple choice, okay? So that's a total of 30 problems.
It ain't that bad.
How many points?
I don't know yet. Make them 5, that'd be 150, right? Probably.
Probably 1 point each, maybe half a point each.
No matter what you make them, it'll end up being the same thing, right? Basically. All right. Number 3 is the synthetic division one. When you're dividing by x minus 1, okay, you make a little corner box, and what value of x makes it 0 goes in the box. So what do I put in the box?
1.
Positive 1, okay? Now, the other part was 3x cubed minus 5x squared minus 2, right? That was the other part? Did I write that right? I'm looking at, I didn't write it out on my paper that I'm doing. Okay. You take these coefficients, but if you have an x cubed, you need an x squared, you also need a what? An x.
Missing an X.
And the constant. So it's got to go in order. So if something's missing, we got to put a what?
Zero.
0. So where the x goes in this problem, you got to put that 0 in. All right? You don't need the variables, you just need the coefficients. Give yourself a little space under those numbers and make a line. And then the first number goes under that line. You just move it down underneath. Okay? And then we took the 1 and multiplied by the 3 that's under the line and get 3 and we put it above the line. And then what do we do with those two numbers? We add them. So what's -5 plus 3?
-2.
-2. Then I start over. 1 times -2.
-2.
And then I add those, which is -2 again, right? So 1 times -2 is -2, so I add those and I get what?
-4.
-4. Okay? So now how do I write my answer? Okay, remember, my original problem was 3x cubed, so my answer is 1 less for that first term, so it's 3x squared. Okay? So this is 3x squared minus 2x minus 2, and I always just put plus, and then whatever my remainder is, I put over, and that's what we put it over, what we were dividing by. So that's our answer. Okay, this here is our answer. Remember, it's 1 less for your variable. So it started out x cubed, that's why it's 3x squared in our answer. Okay, if there was a 0 where the -4 is, then we don't have a remainder, okay? All right, number 4. We're supposed to factor. Okay, what's the first thing we've learned about factoring? Look for a GCF, right? Does this binomial have a GCF?
Oh,
What else?
X3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
4x cubed.
Check it out.
So then I make a set of parentheses, and since there's 2 terms to start with, there should be 2 terms in my parentheses, right? What's 4x to the 5th divided by 4x cubed? X squared. What's -100x cubed divided by 4x cubed? -25. Is it factored completely yet? No. What's that x squared minus 25?
That's the difference.
Difference of squares, right? What's the square root of x squared? Square root of 25. Then what? Plus and minus. Very good. Now it is factored
What is it, AJ?
completely. Okay? We've done lots of factoring. You guys should be pretty good at that by now. And most of you are.
All the seniors have gone from that class. Thanks, guys.
All right. Number 5 is a polynomial equation that we're supposed to solve. Does it say solve by factoring?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Shoot.
All right. So first thing you want to do, is there a GCF for all 4 terms? No. Since it's got 4 terms, we have a method called grouping
Oh, yeah.
that we do when we factor these. Since this third term is a -25x or -25x, put the negative inside the parentheses. And then we take out GCFs from each set of parentheses. So what's the GCF of the first set? X squared. What's the GCF for the second set? -25. When that third term has a negative like this, that negative comes out. And then 25 goes into both. All right. When I divide x cubed by x squared, what do I get?
X.
And when I divide 3x squared by x squared, I get 3. What's negative 25x divided by negative 25?
X.
X. What's negative 75 divided by negative 25?
It's also three.
Okay.
Is it Carol?
So
You see?
one of my factors is x plus 3. What's my other factor? X squared minus 25.
It's
Good.
85 check as well.
I need another.
Looks good so far. So far.
Am I done factoring?
No.
No, I got that difference of squares again, right? That's the same problem we just had, isn't it? This should have made it different. So, how many answers am I gonna have?
3.
3 answers.
Yeah.
Done? Nice. So, remember, when it's at this point, okay, we set each one equal to 0, but most of you can look and tell me the 3 answers, right?
Right.
So what's this answer?
That's negative 3, 5, and
Negative 5 and 5, right?
Right.
There's my 3 answers. Okay? So that's solving by factoring. That was a grouping problem, the way we had to factor. Questions so far? Everybody get that? Okay, number 6. This one, I gave you the 3 answers, and you had to tell me the polynomial that goes with those 3 answers. Okay? So we're going backwards. So the one we just did, we found the 3 answers, right? Now we're going the other way. So when you do this, you write out the factors. And the way you write out the factor is you always start with x minus. Okay? And then you just put the number in there. Well, what's x minus negative 4? Plus 4. So I just changed this to plus 4. And then x minus 3. Now, what did we do with the 2/3?
It'd be 3x.
Right. Take the denominator, which is 3, and put it in front of the x, and then minus the numerator.
Yeah.
Okay? So we start with x minus, but if we have a fraction, it's the denominator times x minus the numerator. Okay? If it's a negative number, it becomes addition because it's minus a negative. All right, now we just multiply this out, and then that's our answer. Okay? And you only do 2 at a time, so I'm just going to do these 2 first. Okay? But it doesn't matter what order you do these. Okay? So, first, x squared outside negative 3x, inside positive 4x, last negative 12. Okay? And then I combine like terms, so it's x squared plus x minus 12. Then I'm going to multiply it by that 3x minus 2, right, William? Okay. So then it's going to be x squared times 3x, which is 3x cubed, and x squared times negative 2, which is negative 2x squared, and then x times 3x, which is 3x squared, and x times negative 2, which is negative 2x, and negative 12 times 3x is negative 36x, and negative 12 times negative 2 is a positive 24. You look here, and here you got like terms, right? So we got to put those together to finish it up. So the polynomial that goes with those 3 roots, those 3 zeros, those 3 answers is this. 3x cubed plus x squared minus 38x plus 24. So William, what we're doing is going over the first 10 of the practice exam, and that note card, you can write any notes you want to yourself on it and use it for the exam. All right, we're good with number 6?
Can you fact check
Okay, all that stuff is from chapter 4. And we're only going over stuff that we did the second half of the year, right, from January on. All right, so now we're getting into chapter 5, number 7.
fact check? Fact check.
We have an equation to solve, but it's to the 4th power. So, what do I do? Take the 4th root of both sides, yeah. If it was to the 2nd power, we take the square root, right? If it was to the 3rd power, we take the cube root of both sides. So this one, we're taking the 4th root of both sides. Now, since it's an even root, what symbol do we have to put in front of our answer? Yeah. If it's an odd root, we don't have to do that. If it's a cube root or a 5th root or a 7th root, we don't have to do that. But if it's just square root of 4th root or 6th root, we got to do that. So what's the 4th root of x plus 7 to the 4th? Yeah, they just cancel each other out. X plus 7. What's the 4th root of 256? Okay, let's go to our calculator. I'll show you how to do that. Get the number 4 because it's 4th root, and then go to math, and it's number 5 where that x is in front of the radical sign, and then put your 256 in there. So what's that? 4, right? If you want to do a factor tree, you can, but you don't have to.
Good.
All right, so what do I got to do to get x by itself?
Oh, you just
Subtract
take
7, right?
one side.
You guys know how to do that.
Just take a-
So there's 2 answers here, okay? There's positive 4 minus 7, and there's negative 4 minus 7. What's 4 minus positive 4 minus 7? Negative 3. What's negative 4 minus 7?
Nice percentage, yeah.
Negative 11, right? So there's my 2 answers. Making sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Some function stuff from chapter 5, number 8. F of x is the square root of x minus 2, and g of x is 2x plus 3. And this is composition of functions here. We're supposed to find f of g of x. Okay? So what that means is you do the g of x first, and you put it in place of the x in the other one. Okay? So, AJ?
Should we keep our calculators in the degree mode?
Yeah, keep them in degree mode, yeah. So, where this x is, I'm going to replace it with the 2x plus 3. I'm putting that in place of the x and then the minus 2. And then you just combine any like terms. Any like terms there?
Yeah.
The constants, yeah. So 2x, what is that, plus 1? It's that easy, not that difficult. Okay? That's all we got to do. Any questions on that?
No.
All right. Number 9, we've got some rational exponents, fractions for exponents, but our rules are the same if they were whole number exponents. Okay, what's the rule for the 2 in the top? Add the exponents. So what's 5/7 plus 3/7? Equals 8/7. And now when it's division, what do we do with the exponents? Subtract. Now what we've been doing is where the higher exponent is, that's where the variable stays, right? So is the higher exponent 8/7 or 1/7? 8/7. So the x will stay in the top, and then I subtract them. What's 8/7 minus 1/7? What's 7/7 equal? 1. So it's basically just 8 or x to the first, right? Or just x. You don't have to put the 1 there. We good?
Yeah.
All right. So add b. I can give you homework if you want, but I wasn't planning on it.
Oh,
No, practice.
All right. One more for today.
Exam.
All right. And we have this fraction, but supposed to simplify it, but we're not allowed to have that radical in the bottom, right? So we have to, again, rationalize that bottom, that denominator. Anybody remember what I multiplied the top and the bottom by?
5.
Nope.
3 plus radical 5.
Not 3 plus radical 5. Close.
3 minus
Yeah,
Back
3
check.
minus radical 5. We call that the conjugate.
That's wrong. Fact check is fake.
Now, if it was just radical 5, then you guys are right. Just multiply by radical 5 over radical 5. But since it's 3 plus radical 5, we have to multiply the top and the bottom by its conjugate, which is 3 minus radical 5. So I like to do this so you guys remember that you have to FOIL the bottom and distribute the top. Okay? So when I distribute, I got 3 times 3, and then 3 times negative radical 5 is just negative 3 radical 5. I can't multiply the 3 times the 5, right? You guys realize that, right? That's one of the problems or mistakes we make sometimes when we do that. If it's outside the radical sign, just multiply. If they're underneath the radical sign, you can multiply. If they're one of each, you can't multiply. You just put it out front of it.
Don't put bottom.
Okay, so if we FOIL this, what's 3 times 3? 9. What's 3 times negative radical 5? Negative 3 radical 5. What's positive radical 5 times 3? Positive 3 radical 5. Did you say something about canceling, Caleb?
Yeah.
Yeah. Those cancel, right?
Yeah.
And what's a positive radical 5 times a negative radical 5? That's a negative radical 25. But you guys all know the square root of 25 is what?
5.
5. So this is 9 minus 5,
4.
which makes that a 4, yes.
True.
If those 3 numbers that aren't under the radical sign had a common factor, I would divide that factor into them, right? But they don't. So that's my answer. Right there. That's always going to happen on the bottom. The radicals will go away, and that's the goal, right? We don't want the radical on the bottom. And then we get a whole number in the bottom. So that's the first 10 of the exam. Like I said, keep this note card with you. Write yourself notes for each problem that will help you get through your exam. Don't lose that stuff. We'll go over which ones tomorrow. 11 to 20, right? You want to get ahead and do it ahead of time, that's all right. Good job participating today.
No, I feel bad.
So I've got that,